it is long overdue for the United States to reassess its policy towards the Middle East in general, but the Persian Gulf in particular. We have continued a policy since the Carter Doctrine in which we think we have to intervene militarily to protect the oil, whether from an external or an internal threat. And whereas the geopolitical circumstances may have justified that doctrine 41 years ago, today we are in a very different situation. On the one hand, the value of the oil is very different from what it was before. Today, the United States is far less dependent on that oil. It is actually an exporter of energy itself. Moreover, the region is far more unstable now after decades of American military domination. So it means that the cost of dominating the region now militarily is far higher now than it was 4 decades ago. Because as bad as the situation may have been with some bad governments and some wars back then, now you're faced with several failed states and several more states that are on the brink of failing. Being the hegemon of such a region is extremely costly and extremely unrewarding. It does not serve U.S. national interests. And when the American people say they want to have an end to the endless wars, well, ending the endless wars is inherently tied to ending the military domination of the Middle East. It is the military domination of the Middle East that has put the United States in these endless wars. So if we want to end the endless wars, we also have to end the ambition of dominating the Middle East militarily. I think it's very important to recognize that a military disengagement from the Middle East and an end to our endless wars and our endless military presence in no way, shape, or form signals an end of actual engagement. Because engagement should be diplomatic, and we should be very careful not to think that engagement is manifested by us bombing countries. That's the end of engagement, not the beginning of engagement. The United States should actually, in my view, take on a much bigger diplomatic role in the region, but not one in which it has to lead everything, but rather be in support of measures to be able to bring about greater stability, because stability in the Middle East actually is important for the United States. I think the region is in dire need of a security architecture, one that is inclusive, and they should start off with the Persian Gulf because that's probably where it's easiest to get it done. The United States should not lead that effort, but it should be highly supportive of it, because ultimately, for that type of security architecture to be successful, it needs to have regional buy-in and a sense of ownership. But if we lead it, they will not own it. And that will mean that it will not endure.